If you're a Calcutta fan, perhaps a good time to look away. If you're a Bangalore fan, it's a good time to go whoop whoop. Yeah, Bangalore fans supremely happy, and why shouldn't they be? They're dancing in the aisles. That's because they have 6 points from their first 3 games. That's right, you heard it right. They've got 6 points from their first 3 games. That's right, you heard it right. They've got 6 points from their first 3 games. Hello and welcome. You're watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me, I've got Vaughan Joy Bhattacharjya. Michael, you're wearing red, so I should just presume for the moment that you're a Bangalore fan. And would you like to speak on behalf of all Bangalore fans and how elated they're feeling right now?
I'll put something straight. I'm not a Bangalore fan, but I admire the way that they've played today, and I admire many of the individuals that play for Bangalore.
That is when somebody says, "Do you think I'm beautiful?" And you go, "I think you have kind eyes."
Yeah, but they've got something going. You can clearly see that the way that they've played today with the bat in hand, magnificent. And you're kind of looking at, good combinations. When you've got that big score, realistically on that kind of wicket, you'd have to do something ridiculously wrong. KKR had a go. They had little moments where you thought, oh, wait a minute, it could be on, but it was always just too many to try and chase. But, the RCB team, the Reds, they look quite strong this year.
Well, Joy, I mean, Michael is completely friend-zoned Bangalore right now. I kind of thought that, do you love me? We can be friends. You're not going to friend zone them at all because, well, you've got Kolkata on the other side. So let's talk about them. You must be disappointed with the showing that they've had.
Yeah, I mean, firstly, all the Kolkata fans have now turned into air conditioners. I mean, there's no other way to go in this market. But honestly, I mean, this display from Kolkata, it was paradoxical. Also, it showed a lot of problems with their team which they've got to sort out. I mean, for one, it's very clear at this point in time that Shakib is not the kind of person you can depend on when you're chasing at that 200, 180, 200 rate. If it's a 140, 150 total, Shakib's a decent batsman to get. Because every innings, even when he gets going, he's going at 110, 105, 110, 150. It's not good enough. Yeah. It's simply not good enough. The other thing I want to say is that Bangalore's big story, everyone at the end of this is going to talk about Bangalore's fantastic batting, A.B. Maxwell, and we've gone on and on about it. For me, there's one real story out there. Death bowling. Harshal Patel and Mohammad Siraj. They've never had death bowling which is consistent. Look what Harshal Patel has done. 3, 3 and 2. In the last 3 overs he bowls. He goes for 3 runs. And mind you, at the other end, Andre Russell has just hammered somebody for 20, 15 runs, 20 runs. It doesn't matter. That consistency from Harshal Patel is for me one of the standouts. And Siraj comes back. Okay, yeah. Andre Russell is batting. Wide Yorkers. Okay, we've been hearing since 2008 from Buchanan's days. I've been hearing wide Yorkers. The one ball to a batsman who's really dominating. It's the toughest ball to bowl as well. That's why otherwise people would be doing it all the time. He bowls 4 wide Yorkers in a row. It is absolutely fantastic display of skill.
Yeah, gave nothing at that point in time, and I mean, there's a few teams who are looking at Bangalore, right? There's Delhi looking at them saying, "Oh, Harshal Patel didn't do this for us." There's Punjab looking at them saying Maxwell didn't do this for us. Well, Michael, you got to give them credit. They're doing something right. That they are it's all about optimizing talent. You can't build any talent because you only have 6-7 weeks with them. It's about optimization of the skills that you have at hand, and they are optimizing their resources.
Yeah, I mean, Glenn Maxwell doesn't surprise me because he's hugely talented, probably one of the most talented cricketers in the world with what he can produce. But it's maximising those around the team. I mean, as Joy mentioned, Patel was magnificent, and Siraj, I just love the way that they're running. They've got great skills, great variations. They look like they're going to get wickets, which is so important. You're looking at 2 teams, one in the Royal Challengers that look like they may have enough. It looks the most promising opportunity that they've had in my time doing this for the last few years. I've always looked at the RCB and go, they've always deflated me because they've had so much talent, but it's never been in the right order. It's always felt like the jigsaw puzzle was missing, or probably had the right kind of pieces, but never put it together right. I think they put it together quite nicely this year. KKR, I think I've got a big issue. And one of the big issues is Andre Russell. Yeah. When you've got a player like that who's such a powerhouse, but he can't run, I just think it's been it's like a negative vibe around the team when, you can't get a player out there to get the quick 2s and the quick singles. You basically just, you know you're going to get hit for sixes, of course, but I just hate it when I look at cricket and there's a player out there that can't get back for twos. I know his body is his body, and it's hard for him, but I think that's quite a negative aspect on a team when you've got that kind of player.
There was a few twos there for sure, right? Which he converted into ones.
Yeah. There are a few ones he didn't run.
Yeah, there was, and especially, I mean, you think about it, right? Because you need him on strike more. That one is perhaps doing more damage because you know that Shakib on the other side is not being able to launch, right? He's finished with whatever, 25 ball, 25 odd, something like that, at 100 strike rate. So Joy, it's the balance, right? I mean, it just throws everything out of whack.
It throws everything out of whack, and that basically means that what you will have to win it is by brute force.
Yeah.
So if Russell can manage to hit 4 or 5 sixes and had that 30-run over and bring it back, he went close. I mean, give him credit for that. He went close. He had a 20-run over, a 15-run over, but it was just not enough because the kind of cricket they're playing puts too much pressure on needing to do stuff like this.
Yeah,
that's my problem. It's not going to come off every day. And the other thing I was thinking of was I was looking at the points table and saying immediately, like you going to say Mumbai, you already say that Mumbai will qualify, period. It's going to happen. Now you're saying, these guys look very good. RCB looks very good. Delhi is good enough to qualify. That leaves you really one slot where the other 5 teams are fighting.
Mm-hmm. The problem also, guys, is that when you've got a player like Andrews who's been such a superstar, and you look at him to continue to be that superstar, in the field, you've got to be honest. When the ball's coming near him, you always worry because he's kind of using his feet all the time. He obviously can't get down. I just think it's a very careful and clever one that Owen Morgan's going to have to try and manage because obviously when he's at his best, he's outstanding. But when you can see him today with the ball in hand and in the field and they're not taking the twos because you need him to take the twos because you want him back on strike, it's a very, very difficult one to manage for Owen Morgan and Brendan McCullum.
We'll try to pull up the Kolkata squad as well. I know it sounds absolutely ludicrous that, do they have can they find a replacement for Russell? But I mean, last season it would have sounded equally ludicrous if you said that Sunil Narayan will not play, right? But now suddenly you have 3 games and Sunil Narayan is not playing. You may have him back, you never know. But I mean, you do, and I know this may sound completely outlandish, but I am a fan of Ben Cutting. Right, I've seen he's won the man of the match in an IPL final. That was for Sunrisers. That was a few years back. He hits the ball hard. Yes, nobody can have the kind of finishing ability that Andre Russell has, perhaps, but he's giving you that with the ball. He's giving you that with the fielding. He is. I mean, Michael's not a bad option, right? Not ideal, but not a bad option.
I'm with you. I just think in this modern era of T20 cricket, you need 11 players that are absolutely on it, that can run, that can be agile, that can move around the field. Saying 11, probably at least 9. But when you've got a team like KK that you can see there's more than Andre Russell in the field that doesn't look like they're electric. It's a difficult one because he's a legend. And as we saw today, when he gets that over and he hits it for 20, you think, how can you leave a player like Andre Russell out of your side? But when you're looking at him in the field, you're looking at his bowling. I just think it's a bad look for the team when you've got a player out there that's really struggling with his body.
And if you can take a match winner and a great like Chris Gale and probably play him only 8 or 10 games, it's all right. If you pay Russell also for just 8-10 games, it's managing workload. We hear that so much these days.
Yeah, and look, this is a pre-auction season. So everything will change at the end of this year. So if this team is not working out, I would take some hard decisions. Ben Cutting is one guy I'd look at. The other guy I'd look at is Tim Seifert because I really feel as a batsman, Shakib is not cutting it for them right now.
Yeah.
They need somebody who can really whack it. And I was looking at the dot, and there's no other international batsman who jumps up and looks at you. So I think the only other batsman out there is Tim Seifert. Tim Seifert can hit it. He can definitely hit the ball.
All right. Well, listen. Of course, we're going to talk more about Bangalore and about Kolkata, but we've got some more. It comes fast and furious at you on a double-header day because you've got the action happening in Mumbai now, moving from Chennai to Mumbai, and that's where you have Punjab taking on Delhi, and we'll have a look at that now because there's some interesting changes that have been made there as well. Let's just have a look at the times, shall we? All right, this is going to be fun. Because we spoke about this yesterday. Simon Dool, in fact, has just texted us and said, I am so sorry for shaking my head so violently when Harsha suggested that Steve Smith may play. And because he's playing. That's right. Steve Smith is in. So effectively, Steve Smith in for Ajinkya Rahane. And in down is Lukman Meriwala, who's come in for Tom Curran. So well, there you go. Joy, will you tell us a little about Meriwala?
A very interesting bowler from Baroda. 2000. He's not a spring chicken. He's 29 years old. He's been, again, he and Sakaria are perfectly the guys who they come from the villages. He comes from a very small village in Bharuch district. Okay. He's a great, left-arm bowler. He's been a great servant of Baroda cricket. He's been playing for many years. In 2014, in the Mushtaq Ali, he was the top wicket taker. Left-arm bowler, can bring it back. And he's one of those guys who's just got his opportunity. I think he can bowl. He can bowl, and he's a canny hand, So he's not this young kid who's going to get hammered that easily. He's got a smart head. He's been around the system for a while, but just never managed to crack it. But he's always done well in Mushtaq Ali.
Oh, he's playing today, and you're going to watch his bowling because Delhi has won the toss and decided to bowl first. No surprise, I guess. In Mumbai, they're putting in the other team to bat, but they've got a good bowling attack, Michael. It's pretty solid. You've got a Wokes there, you've got a Rabada, they've got Avesh Khan who's bowling well. Now you've got this guy who Punjab may not have seen too much of, and you've got Ravichandran Ashwin. This is it's a solid bowling attack.
Yeah, it's clever as well. You go back to the last game on this venue that Punjab batted against Rajasthan. All the left armers caused chaos.
Yeah,
a clever move by Ricky Ponting to put a left armour up against this team. I'll be very interested. We talked about Punjab in the last game that they just didn't use the brains. They just lost all those early wickets, didn't get anywhere near a score, didn't quite get to that 130, 135. They didn't assess the conditions and the pitch. Let's see if they can do that tonight. Let's see if they can assess the conditions that little bit better. And if it is that they just need to get to a par score, and if it's a pitch like it was the other evening, and par's 140 to 145, make sure you get to something near. Don't get bowled out cheaply like they did in that game against Rajasthan and give themselves no chance whatsoever. So mentally and kind of technically, it's quite interesting to see how they go about the business.
You probably, when you have such a dismal day, sometimes it's a blessing almost to have such a rubbish day because it's just easier to forget about it because it was just so bad, that it's an aberration. And it just won't happen again. And that's what Punjab will probably be banking on. Let's have a look at their team. They've just made the one change. And that one change is Jalaj Saxena. Murugan Ashwin has been left out and Jalaj Saxena has come in there. Again, Joy, this is the problem. And we see it, right? I know what they're trying to do there, right? They're just trying to lengthen that batting a bit because Jai Richardson at 7 is probably playing at a position one above where he should be playing. And Punjab seems to have the same problem that they had last year, which is the bowlers don't bat, the batters don't bowl.
Exactly. And we've been talking about this. One of their options was to bring in Moises Hendricks. What they've done is, in fact, they've gone for their Indian all-rounder. They've gone in for Jalaj Saxena. Jalaj is a canny guy. He was a star from Madhya Pradesh, very close to India's selection for many, many years. Now, last 4-5 years, he's been playing for Kerala. Very smart cricketer, and he can bat anywhere. He can open the innings. He can bat at 3, 4, 5, 6, anywhere. Sharp guy, smart guy. He knows what he's doing. Now, he will give a bit more. The only question is, that means you don't have Murugan Ashwin, who's a very, very, very decent bowler for them. And in these pitches, their off spinner is not the most effective weapon. But they've been forced to make that change because they simply have no option.
Yeah, it's Michael. I mean, this team, when you look at Bangalore, right? Bangalore's got so many all-round options, right? This time they have packed their team with all-round options. There's batting and bowling options. And today, Glenn Maxwell came and bowled a bit. And you could tell the difference between Kolkata's bowling, where they felt stretched thin, to Bangalore's bowling options, right? And everyone's informed that helps. With Punjab, they'll be feeling the pinch of this because now suddenly they've had to drop a very good leg spinner just to sort of extend their batting a bit. So this lack of all-round options in the top 6 is hurting them.
Yeah, and Riley Meredith gets another game. Jai Richardson, obviously, he's going to play with the price that they've paid for him. You look at both those Australian quicks, and they're going to be bowling to Steve Smith, who knows exactly how to face that kind of bowling. So I'm surprised they haven't just manoeuvred their team somewhat. Meredith is a quick bowler. That's what he does. He runs in and bowls quickly. But if you give him the batsman any ounce of width, which is what we've seen, he bowls plenty of dot balls, but then he gives 2 or 3 balls of width, and it goes to the boundary like a rocket. So I'm surprised they haven't made that change. But these teams seem to be getting more consistent with their selection. We're at the early stages at the IPL, and I think a lot of the coaches, captains are picking their teams for the first game, going, right, we'll give it 3 or 4 games to see. They're trying to get a bit more consistent. Whether that's the right thing or not, time will tell. But I think Meredith is quite fortunate to get another run out.
But is he going to make your team? All of you sitting at home and watching us, well, you have a chance. Go to my11circle.com and download the app. Once you do that, you, of course, make your team, which is a mix and match from the two teams playing. That's Delhi and Punjab. Of course, pick 11 players. And you've got a chance of making 1 into a crore every game. That's right. You can do it every game. We'll help you with our 3 smart picks for this game. These are the 3 we feel you definitely should have. You've got a few minutes for the game to start. So here they are. Mohammad Shami, Shikhar Dhawan, and Shah Rukh Khan. That's right. Shah Rukh Khan showed his skill in the last game and nobody else was scoring. He seemed to be doing it all by himself and almost got half the runs there. So definitely picking him for that. This was him versus Chennai. That was the previous game. Not too many runs for the team, but he got him, and he got him in an attacking fashion. Then we moved to Shikhar Dhawan, because Shikhar Dhawan has just been, it's not the form, I guess it's probably the tenacity, the attitude, I don't know what it is, but did well against Punjab, got one of his 2 centuries in the previous season against this team. So that's why we're saying pick him. He's missed out in the last game, so probably will be looking to come good in this. And then Mohammad Shami, of course, because Mohammad Shami is pure pedigrees, pure class, and versus Delhi, because he's probably played for this team. I guess you just give it a little more when you've played against a team and you've come to sort of face against them. You probably do that. So he's got wickets against them as well. So these are the 3 that we're picking. All right, gentlemen, we're about to get started. We have Punjab, of course, batting first. So Michael has already told us. Oh, by the way, I just want to say before we go with our guesses, just saying that my power play guess for Kolkata was 56. And how many did they get? Come on, Wilson. 57. Socially distant applause, so you can't hear it. It's very far away, but it is there. But we're going to have another go at the game. Michael has already tried to confuse us. He's thrown a bit of a red herring by telling us that 140 is par score, so we guess around that. And maybe he says that Punjab will only get 110. Right?
How can we predict Punjab? They've got 100 and a few, and then they've got over 220 on the same venue. So
that's right.
I'm going in the middle. 164.
164.
I'm right in the middle, yeah.
That's right. They've really been windscreen wiper in this season, haven't they, Joy?
Yeah, I've said more, even more uncharitable things about them. But anyway, we shall leave that for another time. I'm going to go high this time. 191. Why not?
Why not? Did you say you're going to go high, or that you are high? Which one was it? All right. So, well, let's see. I will go 173. So 164, 173, and what is it? 190. Okay. This is right after Michael's call of par being 140, which he himself has disregarded and gone for 164. So I have no idea what's going on anymore. But then who does? That's why this is a guessing game. We haven't seen the pitch. We haven't seen the conditions. This is just a fun game. But there's a fun game that's starting as well. We're going to come back in the 10th over and assess how Punjab has gone about setting the target for Delhi. So right now we're going to say bye. Big thank you to Joy Bhattacharjya and Michael Vaughan. Big thank you to all of you for joining us on Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My11 Circle. I'm Gaurav Kapur. We'll see you in a bit.
Bye.